If you've been using FlutterFlow to build mobile applications, you'll know it's a great tool for spinning up apps quickly, designing them visually in the editor, and then deploying them to the app stores with ease. One of FlutterFlow's key features is preventing vendor lock-in, so at any point you can download your code and just walk away. That way you no longer have to fight the platform to do custom integrations, you can save on the subscription cost, and you'll never again have to wonder if you're dealing with a FlutterFlow bug or with one of your own bugs. But how exactly do you do the code download, and more importantly, what happens next? In this video, I'm going to show the process of transitioning from a FlutterFlow app to a regular Flutter app. I'll show you how to run your app locally, and more importantly, I'll show you how to upload the builds to the App Store and to the Play Store without the need for Xcode or even to own a Mac. The first thing to understand about leaving FlutterFlow is that all of the external services that you've been using up to now will come with you when you leave. These include your Firebase Auth, your Supabase, App Store Connect, Google Play, and all of the other services that FlutterFlow has plugged you into. These are third-party services. They were never managed by FlutterFlow. Rather, FlutterFlow just created a convenience wrapper around them and deployed certain code. You now need to understand where these live and take responsibility for them. An important example of this is in Google Cloud Platform, where FlutterFlow has deployed functions like add FCM token, for example. And this is a function that takes the FCM token, which is a token that is generated by the user's mobile device, and creates a record for it in Firestore. This is something that will continue to work when you move away from FlutterFlow, but you need to know where it is, and if you want to make changes to these kinds of functions, you have to now know to do these either in Firebase or in GCP. I've got a FlutterFlow project here ready to be exported. There's two ways that you can export a FlutterFlow project. One is to open it here in VS Code. That'll take you directly into VS Code. But a slightly cleaner way to do it is to just go ahead and download the zip file. Just place the project wherever you want on your local machine, unzip it, and then you can open it up in your favorite code editor. My favorite code editor is VS Code, so let's pop it open there. In VS Code, you'll need the Flutter extension. There is some setup involved with this, but the thing is, you can just use an AI to do the setup. What I like to use is Claude Code, the AI agent. And here I can just prompt it to set up my system with the right Flutter dependencies. Now, initially, it is a good idea to go to FlutterFlow and see what Flutter version they're using. Here I'm on 3.32.4. And I'll use a tool called FVM, that's Flutter Version Management, to get the right version. So in Claude Code, I can just prompt it to check or install my Flutter version, make sure that I'm on 3.32.4, and use FVM to do that. Cool, so I'm on 3.32.4 and we're good to go. Now, Claude Code is incredibly powerful and I'll be doing plenty of videos featuring Claude Code in the future, but for now, I just want to run this downloaded Flutter app. And to do that, I will head back to VS Code, and down in the bottom, I can actually set up one of my emulators. I run Linux, so I have access to this Pixel, for example, a Pixel 9 Pro. If you're on Mac, you'll also have access to iOS devices. Personally, I like to run two screens, one with a terminal, usually with Claude Code, and the emulator, and the other with VS Code, but that's up to you. And it's good to know a couple of basic Flutter commands, such as flutter run. This will get the app going in my emulator and see if it's working. Okay, so now the app is running in the simulator and I can log in. And I can allow notifications, and here's my homepage. Okay, now here's the cool part. FlutterFlow one-click deployments can feel like magic. But the thing is that under the hood, all they're really doing is using a tool called CodeMagic. And there's absolutely nothing stopping you from just using CodeMagic yourself. And if you're an individual developer, chances are you're going to be able to use this tool totally free. All you'll do is set up a free account and then start going through the CodeMagic documentation for connecting up your Git repository. And once you've followed some of the steps that are very similar to FlutterFlow in terms of adding API keys and doing code signing, this will actually deploy itself to TestFlight and also to the Google Play Store in draft status. Do note that it is necessary to be using Git and GitHub at this point, but this is something that you should be doing anyway when moving away from FlutterFlow. And there are a myriad of reasons why you should be using Git and GitHub for your Flutter applications. You can use Claude Code to get set up with your environment initially, and then you can get to a point where you're just going to be working on the code either by hand or with AI, and then deployment will be as simple as a git push. If you'd like me to dive deeper into a particular aspect of this workflow, just drop a comment below and let me know what parts of it you'd like to see in a future video. Subscribe for more on app development, and I'll see you in the next one.